Even the most basic digital typeface has over 250 characters, and many of those characters aren't on the top level of the keyboard. You have to dig a little bit to find them. Up until the end of the word jukebox is here, everything is on the top level of your keyboard. I put 3 ligatures in here, which most typefaces will have. And if your typeface has them, you really don't have to do anything special. You just keyboard those letters and the typeface should automatically substitute. These non-English characters that have a circumflex, an umlaut, a grave, a tilde, these are under the top level of the keyboard, and there are a few different ways to find them. To get the A with an umlaut, for example, you can, on a Mac, hit Option U on your keyboard, and that creates the umlaut, and then just type U, and it'll go underneath. So it's a 2-step process. And similar for the tilde, Option N, and then type N, or the circumflex is Option I, and then type I. So that works out really well. If you don't know where to find a keyboard chart, they are all over the internet. My students have one in their typography guide. And if you have a Windows system, this will probably work a little differently, so you all may have to do some research on your own systems. You can also see that on a Mac, many of the other symbols, like the paragraph symbol and the dagger and the double dagger, can also be keyboarded. The same thing works with the capitals here. That, for example, if you want to do the N with the tilde, you just do Option N and then Shift N, and you get the capital. So that's pretty easy. When we go to fractions, it gets a little more complicated because some typefaces have them built in and some do not. For this, you have to kind of look and see what typeface you're dealing with, because all typefaces are not created equal. There's sort of a minimum level that most typefaces will have, but there are quite a few characters that you might find in one and not in another. And how can you find out? Well, there are a couple of ways. The most useful tool that Adobe has given us to find out what is in our font is the glyphs panel. You can find that under the Type menu, and you can drag this out and make it as big as you have screen room for. And you'll see this is Adobe Garamond Pro, that we have many, many, many characters here. We've got zillions of them. It can be kind of intimidating to look at it all. But fortunately, Adobe has a nice little sorter here for us. And you have to just experiment with this because different typefaces are set up in different ways. But if I choose here Basic Latin and Latin 1, you can see that that's got a lot of the basic characters that I need, like the AE here, and the kind of standard things like the copyright sign. So a lot of times in the standard accented characters, you can find most of what you need here. You can also look under numbers, and it will show you what fractions you have available. And this really does vary from typeface to typeface. So just many of them will have the 1/2 and so forth, but this one has quite a few, like 3/8. You just double click on these and they go in wherever your cursor was. You also have currency marks. And again, what is in each typeface will vary, and you really just have to get under the hood and know your typefaces. There's our Euro mark, that's good to have. If you look under symbols, you'll find a lot of your standard kinds of things that you might need, like a section mark, a paragraph mark, the pilcrow, all kinds of other things that you might want to access. And you really just have to explore on your own. Some of these things come on the top level of the keyboard, and some not so much. We have long dashes here. There's another way that you can find some of these standard characters like the ellipsis, the M dash, and the N dash. And that is if you go under your Type menu and you choose Insert Special Character Symbols, you can see that a lot of those symbols are right there. And you have markers, that's for page numbers, hyphens and dashes. You have an M dash, which is a long dash, and an N dash, which is half of an M dash. And you have various other kinds of things that you can insert right out of your type menu. And just you also have a huge variety of spaces. So it's good to get to know these things. And really, it's beginning to raise your level of your work above typing and place it into the realm of typesetting. Now, in our next video, we're going to go into even more detail and discover where to find OpenType Pro fonts, which are really, really exciting to work with. So hold on to your hats.